The Catholic School Board declined to speak on camera, saying that they felt they handled the situation on Monday well. However, they did admit there is always room for improvement. As for parents I spoke to, they say they felt the individual schools handled the situation well, but they want to see the boards look into a way to get information out to parents faster. Farmers that I spoke with on Saturday say it's not about killing the bill entirely. They just want to see the bill put on hold and discussions to happen with farmers and ranchers across the province. Avenue Living is letting people back into the building to get out any necessities, but currently the building has no power or heating. These layoffs come just 2 weeks after CalFrac announced that they were closing up shop locally, and between the two closures, that's 300 people out of work. But for those in the lowest income bracket, they'll need on average an additional $14,000 to make renting affordable.
Now, so once we see more produce being grown locally, will that automatically lead to lower prices here for consumers?
Yes. The thing is, in winter, prices always go up because there's just less product. So once it warms up and more produce is being grown locally, we should start to see some lower prices.
Now, what about some of the other recommendations in the report, Alicia?
The report talks a lot about increasing awareness around mental health. So it mentions providing training in schools, universities, and the workplace. Police officers would also receive training as they deal regularly with mental health issues.
And Alicia Draus has been following the story and joins me now in studio. So Alicia, what's the latest? Is an agreement in place?
Well, Michael, the city sent out a statement late this afternoon saying that the Tigers presented a final proposed license agreement that's now being reviewed by SMG and the city. They want to make sure the deal reflects recent discussions and that it's fair to the team and taxpayers. However, the Tigers are saying something just a little different. The Tigers say the team, along with SMG and the WHL, all agreed to terms on Monday afternoon. They believe everyone is happy with the contract and it's mostly a done deal.
Alicia Draus has more on what's being done for those forced out and how the fire started.
I seen flames shooting out from one balcony, and then I could see flames shooting out from actually 3 floors.
Gordon Zaretsky and his roommate Amos Bratt were the first to notice a fire in their apartment building on College Drive. Bratt says his first instinct was to help.
I exited the vehicle and immediately got on the phone with 911 and entered the building and pulled the fire alarm because nobody was exiting the building. Nobody knew what was going on.
Kevin Heinrich with the fire department says getting the call when they did made a huge difference.
One of our engines was about 2 minutes away, so response time for us was really quick. We were very, very lucky with the wind blowing the way it was that we were able to get in and get the fire out before it actually did extend further into the building.
But smoking damage and air quality prevented all residents from being allowed back into the building Monday evening, leaving about 70 people displaced. Tina Wadeen with the Red Cross says they've helped to put up those residents in the Medicine Hat Lodge.
We'll help them for 72 hours with their basic needs. So that means food, clothing, shelter, and, perhaps anything else that might be needed.
But Brandt and Zaretsky say they're unsure what will happen after.
We're in a tough place right now. Nobody knows what's going on right now. It's all in limbo.
It's kind of day by day, hour by hour.
As for the cause of the fire, Heinrich says the fire department has wrapped up their investigation and the apartment is now back in the hands of Avenue Living.
It was found by the investigators that it was improperly extinguished smoking material on the 3rd floor deck.
Avenue Living is letting people back into the building to get out any necessities, but currently the building has no power or heating. Now, insurance is working to determine the extent of the damages, and Avenue Living says they hope to have a better idea on Wednesday as to when residents might be able to move back in. Alicia Draus, Chat News. The tragic death of an off-duty sheriff has many in the community reeling. Barry Yard says his friend was a loving husband and father who everyone wanted to be around.
He was always a very happy person, always smiling, always joking.
Chris Gerbrandt worked extensively with the South Alberta Light Horse Army Cadets. Captain Kaylin Bradley says Gerbrandt was the kind of guy who never took no for an answer. He still remembers when Gerbrandt first approached him about taking the cadets to Florida for a competition.
I told him he was crazy. And last year he took the drill team to Florida. And they won first place there. And but that was Chris. Chris was one of those guys who would do anything he set his mind to.
And that can-do attitude was something he instilled in others as well, says former cadet James Whaley.
He just encouraged you constantly to keep growing and keep pushing past the negative things in your life, and he made you feel that you could accomplish anything.
And now that he's gone, Whaley says he's not sure how to cope, something Annette Graff understands. She lost her own son, Alexander, on the same highway nearly 2 years ago. A semi-truck crossed the center line and sideswiped his car. Graff says she now feels unsafe driving on the highway.
What's even harder for me is to let our youngest son drive back and forth every day. Just 2 minutes later than what he is normally is enough to send us into a full panic.
She thinks twinning would help to make the highway safer, something Bradley agrees with.
I believe that this could have been avoided had that occurred, and it's time for the government to step in and do something about it.
Gerbrandt's wife and son suffered injuries in the crash and are in hospital in Calgary in stable condition. Bradley says there are already plans to raise funds to support the family. As for the cadets at 2313 SALH, the loss of Gerbrandt is going to be felt for a long time.
This program won't be quite the program it was.
Alicia Draus, Chat News.